Okay. Good evening, everybody. I see we are still probably waiting on some people that have registered and not yet joined us, but we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Paige Eklund. I work at Grid Arendal, and I have the pleasure of moderating today. We're really excited that you decided to spend your evening with us. We have a special preview of a new tool that race organizers can use to help assess and improve the sustainability of their trail running events. And the team that you see here has been hard at work over the past 3 years to really bring this tool to life. So we are excited to share it with you and give you a little sneak peek. So just a few quick announcements before we begin. I will briefly launch a poll to help us get to know you. If you could fill that out, we would really appreciate it. Um, and secondly, this webinar will be recorded. If you missed it or would like to share it with others, it will be posted in a few days on the Kilian Jornet YouTube channel. So stay tuned. And then lastly, if you would like to get a hold of one of our presenters or ask a question, the best way to do that is on that Q&A feature at the bottom of the window. We'll be monitoring this throughout the webinar, and it's a bit easier to track which questions we've answered than in the chat. But you're also welcome to introduce yourself in the chat if you would like as well. So without further ado, please let me introduce our first speaker, Raquel Rodriguez with Eco-Serveis. She's going to give you a short introduction into the Green Trail concept and what makes this tool unique. So Raquel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paige. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Please go ahead.
Perfect. So thank you. Thanks again, Paige. And thanks for all of you to join our final meeting to present this certification scheme that we have been creating during these years. But first of all, I want to provide a brief overview, some context, because I think it's important to present what is the Green Trail concept and the origins of the certification, and because I think it's better for you to understand what lies behind our tool and the process that we have been done to create this tool. So Green Trail Concept is a project that we have been developing during these last 3 years with a unique goal, which is creating a competitive tool that could help improve sustainability of mountain trail running events. So with this goal in our mind, a little bit of that context is that the Green Trail Concept is a European Commission funded project. We started in January 3 years ago, and this December is our last month. So this is why we are now presented our final IT tool. So as I said, with this project, with the Green Trail Concept, with the certification that we have been developing, we want to improve the governance of the trail running events, integrating three different pillars, which is environmental, social, and economic, to improve the sustainability of the events, taking into account these three topics. So all this work, all the project that we done, it's to have this main output, which is the final certification scheme and an online certification tool, which we are going to present today also, in which the certification is available and you can use it. So for creating that, for different partners have been working behind this project. So these different organizations, which are Grid Arendal, the Kilian Jornet Foundation, A Different Path, and Eco-Serveis. We are different organizations that work in different fields in train running, climate change, environmental protection. So we put together all our knowledge to try to create the best tool that we could perform. So based on that, sorry. This is the three pillars that we take into account during the design of the certification, because we want to focus on environmental and on social and also on economic, because we thought it was important not only cover the environmental part. So our IT tool, our certification, incorporates these three different pillars to raise organizers a big evaluation of the sustainability of their races. So each one of these pillars has, later on, my colleagues are going to explain a little bit better, but each one of these pillars has different categories, and these categories has different indicators that we have been working together, analyzing different aspects of these events. So the environmental ones, what we want with that is to protect the environment, reducing the risk and focus on that risk and measuring the impact, because for us are the essential part, because we need to help assess environmental effects, preserve nature, support this no the sustainable event, and also raise awareness, because I think it's important. Trail running events increased a lot during this last year, so we need to focus integrating this pillar and the indicators behind this pillar to try to reduce the footprint of trail running events and preserve the environments in which they took part. So the other one is the economic pillar. We want to help also evaluate the economic impact of that events and try to guide with the certification resources and support local development, of course, and try to return the investment in the local municipalities in which the events are taking place. So we understand also that this pillar could help organizers to improve also the financial sustainability of the events itself, and also to provide benefits for the territory. And the last of these pillars is the social one, because we want to focus also in protecting the rights and the equality, and work with the social, preventing the exclusion and discrimination, and promote the social inclusion in this kind of events. So we try to take into account this part, because it could generate benefits also for the event, and could help also to planning and decision making for the organizers which are organizing the events. So we have these three pillars. This is the base of our certification, and then we create all the certification scheme and all the information that my colleagues are going to explain you a little bit more. And just last thing that it's important for you to know, it's because this certification has been a very long process. We have been working during 3 years, and I think it's important for you to understand no why we decide these indicators, why we decide this certification. So what we have been doing during these 3 years, the first one, we analyzed the state of the art of the trail running events. We analyze real data in two events, the Osterlen Spring Trail in Sweden and the Ultra Pyrenees in Revis in Spain. So with all the data that we gather from these two events and different interviews with other organizers, during the second year of the project, we developed our indicators, and based on that, our quality standards for that indicators. So this was the base to create afterwards the certification scheme, and then the IT tool. So we developed the first version of the IT tool, and then during this last year, the third year of the project, we test our beta IT tool in two events, again in the Australian Spring Trail in Sweden and also in Segama Izcorri in Spain. So with the impact assessment that we carry out based on the data that we gathered from these two events and the experience of both organizers testing and using our certification, we fine-tuning the certification and the tool itself. So finally, we are here today presenting the final IT tool. And my colleagues are going to explain a little bit better what is behind this certification. And just one more thing to add is that today we are presenting. You could use it. You have this December to play with our certification because it's available. And our idea is to launch it officially in January, so you could use it, test it. If you want to comment and suggest things about the IT tool, we have this modality of self-assessment that is free for organizers. And then we work together to have a better launching next year. So I think it's all. I give the floor for my colleagues to keep explaining you a little bit more about the IT tool and the Green Trail concept. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Raquel. Next, we'll actually get to hear from Gael Joly, who is the organizer of the Österlen Spring Trail in Sweden, and he'll talk about his experience with the tool for the 2025 event and what he got out of it, and maybe why you should consider using it for your event. So, Gael, the floor is yours.
Yes, and you can see my screen and hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, good. Hi, everyone. My name is Gael Joly. I'm a French-Swedish guy living in Sweden since 16 years back. No, I lost my window. Wait. Here it is. I'm a part of the Green Trail concept, and I organized a race that's called Österlen Spring Trail. This year was the 10th year anniversary. So the first race was in 2015, and here you can see on the map of Sweden where we are. So in the very southeast of Sweden, a region called Skåne, very close to Malmö and Copenhagen. Here's our poster for next year's race. I have a background in, I studied sports science a long time ago, and during the pandemic, when we couldn't organize events, I took some courses at Malmö University to study sport and sustainability. And then for 3 years ago, I've been asked to be part of the Green Trail concept project, which was really interesting. And I could provide with my experience on the field. And our race from the very beginning, we had really strong sustainable implementation. So you can see a quick review here. So we were one of the first to promote, instead of having bananas and so on, we had apples from the region, from the territory. We were open to inclusivity, and as myself, I have a son with disability, so we had good contacts there, and one of the first races to really open to everyone. We were one of the first in Sweden to make tree medals, which became a trend now. And then for 3 years ago, we became part of the Green Trail concept, and I've been testing the tool through the race, which was a bit special though, because I was also part of the project. And also because I thought we already had quite a lot of good, especially with the environmental points. I thought we were doing quite good, and it was interesting to see how we could improve thanks to the tool. And it actually helped a lot in the way that it was more organized. And also that it helps you to take concrete actions. So that's what we did for example, mostly with the social pillars. That's where we improved a lot. From the very beginning with the race, we had this view of really having more female runners participating. So we had it from the very beginning, 10 years ago in the communication. But I realized that even though we were doing a lot of efforts, we could improve. And we could also improve with the inclusivity. And something I noticed too, that even as an organizer, even if you have the best intentions in the world, you need to gather the knowledge. So through the process of the Green Trail concept, we organize a stakeholders meeting. Now I don't remember if it was this spring. I think it was this spring. But it was an opportunity to sit together with the nature reserve management, with the municipality and other key stakeholders. And for example, representative from the LGBTQ community. And that was really helpful to do. And it helped me to take concrete action there. For example, we noticed we didn't have anything activity for kids, which is one of the social pillars in the tool. And well, it was really easy. Then we organized a kids race, and then we also have a kids activity one of the day to make the day more family friendly. We opened registration for non-binary runners. And that was very interesting too, because we had to speak with our suppliers that supplies the registration system, and they're very open to it, and they changed their registration system and now made it available to more events. And we got really, really good feedbacks on that, even though it concerned very few of the runners, but it gave a very positive image for the event. So here, when I think Aniol will explain after exactly how the tool works, but it's a questionnaire that you answer questions, and then you can get help, and you can upload documents and so on. And when you finish, you get a score here that gives you an overview of where you can improve. Yeah, and I can say it's not that easy. First I thought, oh, but we will get 100%. I thought we were doing a lot of right, but of course we do a lot of things right. But according to that version we tested in the spring, so I got the silver medal. So that means there's still room to improve. Then also we had to be realistic when creating the tool. Like I know by experience organizing different sport events, that the reality is different for all the different countries we're living in, different municipalities, different territories. So there is, for example, things that could be impossible to improve. We have, for example, an indicator that we decided, and I think it's a very good point, that to get the highest point, maybe the race course shouldn't pass by a protected nature area. But for our case, our race is most of the race goes through protected nature area, which we get a permit for every year. We have to apply. So, for example, there's room for improving, but there is things that reality shows that you just can't improve there, or you can't change. For example, also events happening in the countryside on very small municipalities, it will be much harder to get help with the communal transport, for example. So that is, did it pay off, and in what way? Well, like I said, we thought we were doing a lot of things right, and we did. And using the tool, we were forced to improve in some areas. And it gave the first thing, it gave a very positive image for the event. And now that we open the registrations end of October, like we do every year, before next year's race, which will be the 11th time we organize the race. and it got full straight away. So most of the races, there's only the shorter ones that are not full, and still I think everything will be full before the end of the year. And the interesting thing is that we never did so little advertisement for the race than this year. So the words got out, and this was very positive. Another positive thing too is that we never had so many sponsors that contacted us. So that's the first year we also did so little work to get the sponsors. So there is an interest. I think it pays off to do well, and I think sponsors are looking for this kind of event that can provide another value than just mainstream running. On this part, one has to be careful too that some sponsors will, of course, maybe use the event for greenwashing or sport washing. So keep an eye. Or am I doing Paige? Am I short on time or I have more time?
No, you have more time. Please go ahead.
I have more time. Yes, so this was a really good experience to be both part of the project and help creating the tool and the indicators, and also use it live for my event. And I think it was really useful because most of the partners have a very high knowledge in sustainability, and I was the one providing with the practical knowledge of organizing events, and I think that was a really good match for the whole process of creating the tool. And also I could provide with the background as an organizer and all the problem we can face that maybe the usual other certification or other entities do not think about. I think after all, we all face the same challenges, even we sit in different countries. And what was very also, what is unique with trail running is that we saw different type of organizers. And I think compared to other sports, that was also a big challenge to take into account, from small private organizers to big corporates, to associations, to clubs, to federations. So I think it was a big plus to be able to provide that knowledge, and I think we achieved pretty well to make a tool that will fit everyone's need. Also, why would one, as an organizer, want to have a certification? And for me, since 2015, the first year, we really tried to be as good as possible, in a way for ourselves to respect our values, but also to respect the territory and show the locals that we were not gonna mess up with the nature. But year after year, I realized that does it matter? And yes, it matters, but how can we show it if everyone else can make claims that they do something, and even though they don't do as much? And it was a really frustrating part not to be able to really show. And there is other certifications, but they're not specific to trail running, and they cost a lot of money. So I think this is a really great idea, and it will be really nice to be able to show our effort. So yes, I hope you guys will try the tool.
Yeah, thanks, Guy.
Certification.
I don't see any questions in the Q&A yet, but could you just give people a quick background on Østerdalen Spring Trail, like how many participants and what distances you run?
Yeah, sorry. So Østerdalen Spring Trail was created 2015, first as a hobby and with the ambition to develop trail running in this part of Sweden. Then we had 500 participants the first year, and it grew to now 2,000 participants. So we have 6 races, and the main race is the 60 kilometers. It's a A to B run. It's really nice. It starts in Simrishamn by the sea, the Baltic Sea, and then it runs through a very diverse landscape, and a national park, and 9 nature reserves. So every year we have to ask for a permit. So I got a permit for next year, but we don't know what it will be. And I do believe, it's hard to know, but I do believe that, for example, the certification will help to get the permits. Then in Sweden, it's very special. It's very different. But of course, I think if you can showcase that you will respect the restrictions and so on. So I do think it will help. And what is special is I decided we're not gonna grow in volume. I've decided that we had enough participants. So that is so. Even though you have a certification, you can also implement things that are maybe stricter than certification. It doesn't stop you to implement other things. So
Yeah, thanks, Gael.
yep.
Again, if you have any questions for Gael or Raquel, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A feature. They can always type out an answer. But in the interest of time, we'll move on. I think Gael and Raquel brought up a lot of good points, and that the tool is meant to help organizers improve. It's not meant to punish. So that's why the self-assessment that's available on the website now is free and always will be. And the 3 pillars, so environment and social and economic, that's something that we didn't see offered in any of the other certification schemes. But now that we've gotten a broad view, we can zoom in a bit and look at the tool in a bit more detail. And so now I'll hand it over to my colleague Anna with the Kilian Jornet Foundation. She's going to walk us through those sets of questions that Gael was talking about, or you might have heard us call them indicators, and how we developed them, and how you can consider them before and after your event. So Anna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paige. I hope you can hear me well and you can see my screen well.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, perfect. So as Paige was saying, I would like to go a bit deeper and into a bit more technical explanation on how we develop the certification tool. So this certification tool consists of a set of indicators that are translated into questions that race organizers can answer in an online format. And then I just want to give you a bit of a broad description of how we develop these indicators that then they worked for creating this certification tool. So the initial list of indicators was developed in 3 different phases. And the first phase that we call indicators and criteria was basically based on a literature review and a set of a series of semi-structured interviews to trail running experts in different contexts, right? So this literature review was mainly based on the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals were created for the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, where they were created these 17 sustainable goals, or SDGs that they are called. And basically the aim of these sustainable goals is to develop peace and prosperity for people and the planet while tackling climate change. So these SDGs highlight this connection between the environment, the economy, and the social pillars. That's a bit what already Raquel described. And we thought that these 3 pillars were very important to also include them in our certification tool, because when we talk about trail running races, we're not only talking about the impact that we're having on the environment, but also the impact that the race, and we're not talking about only negative impact, but also positive impact that these races can have on the local economy and in the social community of the area. So we wanted to take into account also these three pillars, and then we did a lot of research behind that to know exactly what each pillar was containing and how we could develop different indicators based on the sustainable development, economical development, and social development. So then the phase two was the data collection that we performed into two different trail running events. One of them was, as Gael was explaining, that was done in Sweden in the Österlen Spring Trail that took place in April 2024. And then the other trail running event where we collected data was in Spain in a trail running event called Ultra Pirineos. And then in these events, what we did is that a set of workshops for trail runners and the audience to try to collect data information about what they consider important, taking into consideration these three pillars. We also perform online questionnaires, and we also talk to key stakeholders that could tell us which were the potential indicators that were important to have into consideration. Here we also talk to protected area manager, area managers, and other key stakeholders for trail running events. Here, for example, you can just see one of these stands that we had in one of the events where we were presenting the Green Trail project, Green Trail concept project, and then we were actually asking people what they consider as environmental, social, and economical indicators that could be also implemented into different trail running events. And then the third phase was what we called benchmarking. In this case, what we did is an analysis of different certification tools that are already available in the market for trail running races, and we compare them of what they were offering and what they were not offering and what could be improved to create or to help to develop our own certification scheme. And here, as already Raquel and Paige pointed out, one of the main differences is that a lot of these certification tools that already exist for trail running races, that are not a lot, they only take into consideration the environmental pillar, but they don't really take into consideration what's the social and economical impact of the races in the local area. So this is something, again, that I'm highlighting, that the Green Trail concept offers that is different from others. So from these three phases, what we ended up with was with an initial set of indicators that they were divided into different categories that were the ones that we consider that were more important to cover all of these sustainable development goals that we were talking about. And here, just to give you like a brief overview of what are the different categories or things that we have into account with the different pillars. So, for example, for the environment, we're talking, or we have indicators that relate to the transport or the sustainable mobility and logistics, how the planning of the event, also talking about the track that the race covers and the biodiversity, flora and fauna that there is behind, the infrastructures, everything that has to do with the resource use, waste management, energy, water, and also like some indicators related to carbon responsibility. Then for the social pillar, we also have some indicators related to equity and inclusion, diversity, representation, and also the well-being of both the audience and the participants, and also a lot about community engagement, participation, awareness, and transparency. And then for the economical pillar, we also have other indicators related to what are the strategic economic decisions that race organizers are considering, also about the sustainable procurement and sponsorship that the race organizers take into consideration, the collaboration of race organizers with local business and the employment that they use, and also some indicators related to promotion of the event and the tourism around the event. And in total, at the end, what we ended up is with a set of 65 indicators, 35 environmental, 22 social, and 8 economic, that are able to create this certification tool. And just here as an example, so as I said, these indicators are translated into questions that have also qualitative answers. And this is one of the examples that then race organizers can select. And depending on the what they select, they will get one punctuation or another. And something also that already Gael mentioned, but all of these set of first indicators that we created and this questionnaire that was coming from these indicators was tested in 2 pilot events, in Osterlin Spring Trail and also in Zegama in Spain. And that also helped us to fine-tune them and develop the final list of indicators. And then finally, something that we're also having into account is what we call the quality standards. And that's also something important to have in mind, because not each indicators weight the same. And that is not, this is because some indicators are easier to apply than others, and we categorize them into 3 different, or we created this type of matrices, like you can see here, based on 3 parameters or targets that are raise awareness, severity, and feasibility. So basically, for each indicator, we give a different score on raise awareness, severity, and feasibility. And these 3 factors is like how, when we talk about raise awareness, is how much this action or this indicator can influence and educate others about sustainability. So the higher it can influence or educate, the higher the ranking will be. Then the indicators are also based of severity. So how significant the environmental, social, or economic consequences are if this indicator is not performed. And then also in feasibility. So how realistic and achievable the action for the race organizers are. So each of these parameters have a score, and this help us to weight the indicator, and this will give a specific score, final score, that will give the final punctuation at the end of the certification. But for the scoring, I think now Paige will explain a bit more, like from how we translate these indicators into actually a number that will give you a punctuation for the race.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. Before I get to that, we have a question from Gabriel Solomon. He's out of Romania in the Carpathia Trails event. The question is the certification time-based? So is there a certain amount of time that the certification is valid for? Or do people need to assess each time they have an event? Do one of our panelists want to tackle that question real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, Raquel.
No, Anna, go ahead.
So the idea is to the certification will be valid for the year that the race organizing is applying for. So if there you need to, because that also means that we need to collect data for the different questions and indicators. So this also needs to be specific from one of the year that the race was celebrated. So indeed, the certification is for the year that the race organizer choose to do it for.
I just want to add, if I may, that we made it so it will be as time efficient and easy as possible for organizers. So tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you can duplicate the race. For example, if you do it 2026, and then you want to do it to 2027 again, then you duplicate it, and then you change. If you improve, then you change the indicators that you improve, right?
Yeah, I think it's very easy, and then Aniol can explain it, but you can duplicate the race or the questions that you answer in one of the years. You can duplicate that and only change the ones that you like the indicators or questions that you change in the following year, if you implementing something new or not. So indeed, you need to apply for like another year if you want the certification, but you can easily transfer all your data from one year to the other.
Yeah, I just want to add quickly that as an organizer myself, we we made it easy. We know the challenges and the time it takes, and so we made it so it will be as easy as possible and less time consuming as possible. And there is both resources and templates to upload and to read on the website. So we made it as easy as possible. I've tried different certification and that's why I know that I think this will be easy and efficient for organizers.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Before I let Anil show you the tool on the website and how you would actually go about doing that, as Anna said, I can give you just a very, very short background on some of the things that we used when we were trying to determine how much points you should get and whether you should be a bronze or silver or a gold medalist. I know this community is all about improving their scores and their times and competing. And so we wanted to really make sure that was transparent as possible. And as Anna mentioned, we took the information that we gathered from each indicator. You know, how feasible is that for a race organizer to implement? What's the cost if we do nothing, if we continue our business as usual? And how important it is to communicate about these sustainability efforts. And that's what was used to weigh each of those questions against each other, because like Gael mentioned, this can be very different depending on your national context or the size of your event. So the idea is that indicators that are easier to implement and more important to act on count more towards your final score. And you also needed to score a minimum in each of the pillars to be certified. So for each pillar, you need to achieve at least 50%. And that's to keep the integrity of those three pillars and make sure that we're focusing our efforts on all three areas. And then to assign points to different answers within those questions, we applied three main logics or principles. This is the mitigation hierarchy, transparency, and rewarding action. And when it comes to environmental sustainability, we adhere to what was called the mitigation hierarchy, what I just mentioned. This concept's been used for about a century in natural sciences and natural resource management. It's basically a list of prioritized steps. So we know that these lead to better outcomes for both people and nature. And essentially, it says that actions that avoid harm in the first place are better than actions that simply try to reduce or minimize harm. And again, in turn, actions that minimize harm are better than actions that correct harm after the fact. The last resort in the mitigation hierarchy is compensating for harm or correcting harm kind of in an unrelated location or an unrelated action. And I think most people are familiar with the reduce, reuse, recycle phrase. That's what the mitigation hierarchy looks like in practice for waste management. So just think of it as a fancy term for that. But it can be applied to other contexts. So for example, actions that avoid CO2 emissions, which is the first step in the hierarchy, they'll receive a higher score than buying carbon credits after the fact, because compensating for harm is that last resort in the mitigation hierarchy. As Gael mentioned before, another example, so actions to avoid damage to natural areas receive more points than actions that simply just try to restore nature afterwards. So that's just a quick intro to the mitigation hierarchy. I'm happy to answer any other questions, but we also wanted to reward organizers for making a change, however small, because business as usual is not going to get us to the sustainable development goals that we all want to achieve. So some action, even if it's not perfect, even if it's suboptimal, we wanted to reward that because it's better than not taking action. And as you can see, maybe in some of the slides that we presented, some of the actions that you take can have challenges. So you're always welcome to type out what those challenges are and getting across the finish line in those open answer boxes. But if you don't take action, so no action is no points. And then lastly, we also wanted to incentivize transparency. So your information should be publicly available to receive full credit. And that follows the guidelines from the EU Green Sport Expert Group. They want transparency and accountability in reporting. So measuring our impact, which is what the tool is designed to help you do, is important, but then reporting those impacts and being transparent is really the first step in talking about it and trying to limit them. So those are some of the things that we considered when we were talking about your scores and how you get the medals. But as Gael mentioned, we also wanted to try to avoid greenwashing and try to align this tool with other resources and organizations that are working in this space. So you might have seen on Gael's slides that if you implement or use some of the She Race guidelines, you can receive full credit for social indicators that ask about gender and inclusion. And we also adopted what's called the Red Lines framework from the Pro Trail Runners Association. So if you cross one of these red lines, you won't be able to get certified, and that's regardless of your answers on any of the other indicators. And according to the PTRA website, red lines are items that, quote, we feel should be respected by every event under all circumstances, end quote. So we tried to align with that. There are 5 red lines. One of them is a lack of a publicly stated policy, so following the principle of transparency that I talked about. Yeah, I think in the interest of time, I can try to answer any questions in the Q&A if they pop up. But we've heard a lot about the tool now, so I really want to jump into the tool itself, and so you can actually see the tool. So I'll hand it over to Anjol from Eco-Serveis to show us that, and it's available on our project website now. So take it away, Anjol.
Thank you very much. Well, yeah, let's cut to the chase and talk about this wonderful tool. Just if you can say that you can hear me and see my screen, that would be great.
Yes, I can confirm
Yeah,
both.
perfect. So for the ones that they want, and as Paige already mentioned, you have like an exclusive sneak peek of the application. So you can type the same URL as you can see in my screen, app.greentrailconcept.eu, and you can register yourself already. As my colleague Raquel mentioned, we are launching it in the next year in January, and then we are going to remove the data from the website, but you can play with it exclusively. So basically, what it's doing the certification tool, it's making things easy. Why? Because we know already that you have plenty of things to do during the organization of a race. So what we want to do is all the filling in this information. It should be very quick, very fast, and easy to do. So the first thing that you can see is that, you can sign up. We need this information. We don't ask for much. So what we want is just the organization name and basically nothing more, just your contact information to send you emails and so on. And then if you log in, you will see basically what you can do with this tool. This tool, as we mentioned, it's an IT tool. So after registration, you can log in. You will have your dashboard with your races, and you can edit and fill in the information there. It is translated in 3 languages, in English, Spanish, and French. Okay, so we are gonna browse using the English version. One thing that we thought is that, of course, there is the responsible of the organization, but then you can have volunteers, you can have other members that could help filling in this information question by question. So what we did is the option to add auxiliary users that they can then fill in this information for you. Said that, let's go and add arrays. We have 2 options. As they already mentioned, you can duplicate arrays because basically you have an edition of your the next edition of your arrays that it's yearly or whatever, or add a new one. Let's go through the add the new one. As you can see, the data here, it's really well easy to fill in. It's just the date of the race and everything that you need to, let's say, characterize the race. It is interesting to know if you form part of the circuit, the region, and so on. And then here it's important, there is an option that if you want to share this data publicly, like say, okay, I have this medal or whatever, there is the option to share it publicly. If you don't want, you just don't click here and that's it. You just add this race and you have all the questions and indicators that we already mentioned. So just to go straight to the point, they already talk about it. You have 3 pillars: environmental, social, economic, 65 indicators distributed in these numbers, 35, 22, and 8, just to have an examples of which kind of questions do we ask. It's these ones. It's very simple. Did you consider this? Yes. No. Yes, we had, and I explained a little bit more about it. Or even I upload a document, like it could be a waste management plan or a mobility plan, to demonstrate that it's implemented. Okay, so we have questions that it's 3 options max or 5 maximum, and then just to explain with a little text, short text, what you do, or upload documents. We also give you templates for that. So this is important. I will show you later. Or and those, for example, they are mandatories in some cases. If I click here, I will need to put an explanatory text for this reply. Of course, there is always pop-ups telling you why this is important, which is the information regarding this indicator. Then you have other kind of questions, for example, that they are, as I said, you need to fill in and upload documents. And there are some others that they say bonus, that it's if you explain much more the text, either the reply, then you will have more points on it. So it is divided by pre-event and post-event. You can fill in this whenever you want, but this is worth mentioning that we thought that it could be helpful to know that some of the indicators it's more related to what you're going to do after the race, and the other ones it's more related to the communication, the organization, the registration of the participants, and so on. We know also that going through one by one could be a little bit boring, so you can expand it all, check. And what is important, it's to always save the draft. There is a button in the end, you save the draft, and then you will see how these different tabs are gonna increase the percentage of completion of the replies. Okay. Of course, you can go back to the dashboard, go ahead with your other race and edit them and so on. So said that, you have, for example, the race draft, and something wrong happened. You can go to the race, look at your different registrations and say that this one I want to delete it. You can edit them and so on. And as I mentioned, we know that a lot of races are editions through years. So when you need to add a race, you could just duplicate it and say, okay, I just want to resubmit this one. I change the text and I say this one it's for 2026. It's exactly the same. Just maybe here the date it's gonna be different, but okay. And I resubmit it. And then I already have all the information of the race there. So I can go here and just say, okay, I changed something. I changed that regarding the economic aspect, I improved this one. And I say another reply. So this is something that we know. And once you have finished this and you save the draft, you can submit it. Okay. Once you submitted the race, you will see that those change the status in the list of race. You have the draft, okay, which is one you can edit, and then the submitted one, the one we received, and finally, which one it's approved or not. For the self-assessment, which is one version, it's you can self-assess yourself. It's more than enough to have the submit version. Why? Because you can go here and then you will see the results for each category of what you have achieved. You have gold in environment, silver in social and economic, and also considering the different categories, which one is much better than the other. So you can have it already and it will be available to print it in a PDF format. Okay, but for the certified, and that's the other part. You need to submit it, and then you're gonna receive this status of certification received and approved. If there is something wrong, the certification will be denied, and you will have to duplicate the race and resubmit it again. Yeah, what else? What is really important is, besides having this tool to fill in the information, we think that it's very important to help you, to give you support in order to give you ideas on how to improve the races. So we have a support tab. In here we have one thing that we almost forgot in this society, because they always say, yeah, it's intuitive, but here we work a lot to have guidelines. Okay, so we have guidelines explaining step by step on how to work on the tool, how is it working, the indicators, the weighting, and so on. So here you have this. This is important, okay? And also related to the templates I mentioned before, you have all of those templates that they are Word templates, for example, regarding mobility plan, that they are Word templates that you can upload to the tool, and basically they are already providing ideas on what you can do to improve it, and with checks like, okay, did you did that? Yes. Did you do that? Yes. Okay. And you can, of course, add more of your ideas. That's for sure. What else? We wrap up a lot of this information in a PDF of recommendations. Okay. And this one, it's I suggest to read it. It's the one that we collect from the workshops, the focus groups, the interviews, all the recommendations to improve your races in the 3 pillars, because it's worth to mention that here it's not talking about environmental pillar, but we are also talking about social and economic. So it is important to know that we have this one as well. I think that is a very short presentation, but it's enough to let you know how the tool is working. So you can register yourself and play with it during this early access. So the only thing I need to show you is that, of course, you can contact us if you have any questions or doubts regarding the tool. And I log out, and I give word to Paige to finish the one.
Thanks, Anil. Just a reminder, you can go log in and create an account and upload or test the tool now.
Yeah.
But we'll reset. So any progress you have will be we'll start with a clean slate, we'll say, in January of 2026. We have another question from Gabriel, though. Anil, maybe you can answer this one. They're wondering, will there be a place on the official website for races that are certified? It could be useful for participants to find races that make efforts to be sustainable.
Yeah, that will happen only if you clicked on the authorization that you want to have these results public. Only of those that they mark that this race I want to be published, then that would happen.
Thanks. And thanks everybody for all of your questions. I think we're pretty much right at an hour, 60 minutes. So I just wanted to end. Anna, I really liked what you said, that we wanted to document positive impacts that these events have on communities and participants and the environment, not just negative ones. And I think that really encapsulates what we were trying to achieve with this tool, because we know people like Gael are out there working really hard to improve, and so we wanted to give them some visibility, some credibility, and help get everybody together on the same page to see what works, and keep doing that. But yeah, otherwise, I don't see any other questions, so I think we'll end it today. So thanks everyone for joining us this evening, and I hope you enjoy and can use the new Green Trails certification tool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
For
everyone.
attending.
Thank you all.